Okay, folks, welcome to our top stocks to watch for the new trading week. The first up is going to be Whirlpool, symbol WHR. Next up, Granger, GWW, the symbol. Advanced Auto Parts, AAP, the symbol. Then, of course, Costco, extreme oversold stock. Very excited to talk about this one. And, of course, Rocket Mortgage, which soared last week and has since pulled back. We're going to go over those charts. We're going to set up alerts. We're going to strategize. Members, I've already gone over the week ahead commentary. It's been posted in the members area. That is where we review the health of the overall markets, where we believe the market is going this trading week, and analyze how we closed out this past trading week. But before we get to it, just a moment to pay the bills. I would encourage you to please sign up, become a member to the Contrarian Trader, one-to-one coaching, exclusive commentary, exclusive members-only live streams, and of course, our Slack channel where you can contact me directly. We'll be using TrendSpider to do our analysis and to set up our trade alerts. And as you can see here, with our silver and gold level memberships, you get TrendSpider for free. And of course, all of these other features. And of course, we need to tip our hat to our sponsor, being TrendSpider. Automate your technical analysis, folks. Speed up your analysis and also improve your accuracy. Reduce costly analytical mistakes and find winning chart setups. Time your trades with precision using the trade alerts. You'll see me use them today. You get real-time data, ETF, stocks, Forex, crypto, futures, commodities, pink sheets, all that good stuff. They have a 7-day free trial offer. You can watch their demo tour, and you're never left alone as they have TrendSpider University with a bunch of tutorials. So take action, use the link below, take a tour, 35% discount code, lowest price on the web. Let's get to our best stocks to watch for the new trading week. We're going to kick things off with a weekly chart of Whirlpool. A couple of things that stand out to me here. One, and before I get into this was a watch stock several weeks ago. And while I may not talk about certain stocks if they don't perform, that doesn't mean we no longer watch them. We did have a breakout back here, and that breakout failed. So it became a tier B watch stock. Now it's up to a tier A again. So going back to the reason as to why it was added to our watch list, we had broken out back here the week of January the 11th, traded sideways, ultimately breaking out here the week of the 18th. But again, we failed to hold it. Fast forward, we broke out yet again the week of the 8th, and yet again, we failed to hold it. So what this tells us is that this 195.20 resistance mark is porous. We don't like porous. So what we're going to do is we're going to tighten this up a little bit. And we're going to use this volume shuffle. I'm going to move this resistance level up slightly, not much. So our new resistance level at current is 196.50. And that marks the top of this volume shelf. Now, all I care about here are one or both of a couple of things. One, we break out. And we need to close, at least on a daily time frame, above this resistance level. We're going to keep this active for a couple of weeks, given that the market is under pressure. Now, the second thing I would be looking for, given the fact that the market is under pressure, and we do have two markets right now, folks, and I'll go to that in a moment. So now we have an alert set down here at, let's call it 175.50. So the game plan here is to open up a position on a breakout and a close above 196.50. What if we don't get that? Well, our fallback position is to wait for a pullback to 175.50. Then we can open up a position, then add more aggressively on a breakout above the 196.5 level. Now, I mentioned earlier that we have two markets. One is high beta growth. All right, high beta growth right now, those are your semiconductors, technology, and they do not perform well in a high interest rate environment. What does well? Your industrials, your transports, your energies. Now, Whirlpool is an industrial. We have a housing boom going on. Durable goods orders came out a week or so ago and blew the doors off of expectations. What are durable goods? Washing machines, dryers, etc. So the high interest rate environment is not acting as much as a headwind for Whirlpool as it is for your high beta tech. We'll talk more about that tonight on Sunday Night Futures Live, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube. Hit the subscribe and bell button or get alerted by adding your name to our 15-minute to a half-hour alert list down below prior to us going live every Sunday and Thursday night. Again, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The next time frame we want to look at is the daily chart. Now, taking a look at Whirlpool on a daily time frame, you can see that on Friday, the shares held support right here in blue. These are your automated support lines. Let's take them off. Click of a button. Throw them back up. And there you have it. You have two support levels below, one in green, one in blue. And on Friday, we held those support levels after testing. On Thursday, we broke out on a daily time frame on Friday, hitting a high of 196.22, right in the ballpark of where we want to be on a breakout. Now, you can see here at the 196.50 mark, we do have resistance. That's where we were stopped. Technically, it was 196.22. We need to see a breakout above that mark. We already have an alert set there. Our RSI is hooking up. Very nice. That's what you want to see. Take your drawing tool out. And we have a breakout on a daily time frame Whirlpool. So no rush here quite yet. What I would also be interested in on Whirlpool is a what if. What if we get a weak open on Monday and we get a snap pullback on Whirlpool? Well, would it not be interesting to get a retest of this breakout point? I think so. So I'm going to set up an alert here. Touch, bounce, get alerted quickly. So I made a couple of notes to myself on this. WHR, retest of daily breakout point. What was resistance here, 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 should now in a healthy market act as support. But if we get that pullback, that probably means the market is weak overall. So note to self, stay small with the entry. And in the back of my mind, I already know what I'm talking about because I know I have a breakout point above. I'd like to see it break out and above. So that's the game plan with Whirlpool. When you take a look at the raindrop charts, these are a mixture of candlestick and volume-weighted moving average. You could see that we closed at the highs of the day. The left side of this raindrop is the morning price action. The right side is the afternoon price action. You can see by what I call this pregnant belly. On the right side, you can see that volume was very strong going into the close, and that's exactly what you want to see. And the version of TrendSpider I'm using here is the exact same version that you get as a gold level member. I like to keep my fingers on the pulse of what our members are experiencing. The next chart up is Granger weekly chart, and we're going to take off the automated trend lines. We don't want them to influence us. I like to put them up after I've done my own analysis. It keeps your skills sharp. And then what you do is you use the automated trend lines to validate your accuracy. And you can see that last week we broke above weekly support. We were up on volume, RSI, breaking out. Again, we want to identify breakouts, memorialize them. There we have it. Higher lows and higher highs on RSI. Let's put up the automated trend lines. So really what they're pointing out is that we have a bunch of resistance above, and these resistance levels are rising, which is a good thing. So that means that as these shares break out and above, so are your resistance levels. They're moving up higher, which gives you higher profit potential on the trade. So how I would trade this one is this way. Weekly chart, I would like to see a retest of this breakout point. This is pretty common for me to do because I always like to see what was resistance after a breakout, then get tested, and become support. If it fails to hold the support, then it's a bad trade, and we don't want to be involved. We'll keep this active for a couple of weeks. Now we set it, and we forget it. Let the algorithm do the work for you. Let the alerts do the work for you. It eliminates impulse buying, selling. This is why we use the weekends to our advantage. We set up our strategy well in advance of the new trading week. Go about your life. Most people have day jobs. Now, what I also want to do here, I want to know if and when we break out above this upper band of resistance. So to do that, I'm going to take sensitivity off. I don't care if we're in the neighborhood of that resistance level. All I care about is one thing. Do we close out a day above that mark? So the note to self here, we only care about a breakthrough. We don't care about a touch. We don't care about a bounce. All that matters is a breakout. So GWW, breakout, weekly time frame, add or open. What does that mean? Well, what if we pull back and retest this support level? We scratch the itch. We decide we're going to get long. Okay, good. Now, when we break out and above this upper band of resistance, then we'll be adding to our position. But if we fail to retest the support level and we just shoot straight up higher and we close above resistance, then we'll simply be opening a new position. That's my note to self. We'll create the alert and we're good to go. Set it and forget it. Daily chart, a very nice day. The however is, take the automated trend lines off. And this is the value of the automated trend lines, is this. It looks great, right? We broke out. Looks like these shares are going to rip up higher, and they just may. The problem is this. Click of a button, automated trend lines. The algorithm is picking up resistance right at the highs of the day from last Friday. Does that mean you avoid the trade? No, but it puts into focus a retest of this lower band of support. If you buy there, that increases the probability of a risk v reward. Or else you're going to have to wait for a close above this daily resistance level. Again, no sensitivity. I only care if we close above it. For some reason, it's still showing sensitivity. Let's get rid of that. And there we go. Break through. Okay, we'll keep this active for, let's say, 7 trading days. All right, so we care about a closing breakout above this resistance level here. We will add or open. We'll keep it active for 7 days. We don't care if it touches or bounces. All we care about is a close above this resistance level. Alert set. Set it and forget it. Now, RSI looking rock solid. Higher lows, and we broke out. Raindrop charts looking very strong. We close at the highs of the session on volume. Very good stuff. So GWW looking very good into the new trading week. Now, advanced auto parts, we're going to begin with a monthly view for a reason. Because I think that this thing is going a ton higher. Why do I say that? Well, when you take a look at this chart, to some it may look like a hodgepodge of candlesticks, a lot of volatility. I'm looking at an inverted head and shoulders setup. And we are on the cusp of a major league breakout. Let's get to work. Okay, so what we're looking at here is an inverted head and shoulders setup. Obviously, it's inverted, so it's the opposite of your head and shoulders setup. This is a very, very bullish setup. All right, so here's your left shoulder. Here's your head, arrow highlighted in blue. Here's your right shoulder. And what we're looking for here is a breakout above the neckline. And you can have a couple of them. And guess what? We broke out so far on the month. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't have resistance above. We most certainly do. So we don't want to take this one chart and say, okay, Bob just pointed out some really great points on the monthly time frame. Folks, we've only gone through the first week of the month. We're in a volatile market. Anything could happen. So we want to put things into perspective. While this looks very, very good right here, right now, early on in the month, it may not look so good at the end of the month. So I want to douse a little bit of water on the fire of bullishness so that nobody gets hurt by getting too long of a position early on based upon a monthly chart. Now let's overlay our resistance levels using the automated trend lines. Do we have resistance above? Click of a button. And we do, right up here. So I don't see all too much risk from entering a position right here, right now, versus the reward of having resistance up at 197. We closed out the day on Friday at 171.51. RSI, monthly time frame, looking very good. I'm not going to set my alerts on a monthly chart. At a minimum, we're going to use the weekly chart, and perhaps we'll drill it down even further to a daily chart. Let's go to the weekly chart now. Now, on a weekly time frame, you can see with the automated trend lines, we're going to take them off. Watch that line in green right here, and this line in red up here, and in fact, the line in blue at the bottom. They're going to disappear. Okay? Throw them back on. Click of a button. Now you know where you have critical support, one that we've drawn, another one that the algorithm's picking up. We have resistance level number 1 on a weekly time frame, resistance number 2 on a weekly time frame. What I also want to do is I want to overlay that monthly resistance level we saw earlier onto a weekly chart. This is multi-time frame analysis. And there you have it. The dashed line represents support and or resistance from a different time frame. So in this case, we're on a weekly chart. The however is we're throwing monthly support and resistance levels onto a weekly time frame, represented in dashed line again. So now what do we want to do? I would love to see this. I would love to see a pullback and a retest of the breakout point from last week. What might cause that? Some uneasiness in the market on Monday. Perhaps yields are pulling back and money's moving into high-tech stocks and they don't want advanced auto parts. It could work out that way. Or you may simply have some technicians like me out there. They simply want to see a retest of what was resistance now act as support. AAP, retest, and we'll keep this active for 14 days. I really like this chart setup. All right, so our alert is set here. RSI looking very, very good. You have a W formation. We're putting in higher lows and higher highs. Daily chart. Now on a daily chart, we saw a beautiful breakout above all of these volume shelves last week. We retested, breakout. Exactly what you want to see, a very healthy chart. Here's our manually drawn resistance level from which we broke out. Let's overlay some daily resistance levels. We do have some above, but not enough to keep us away from the trade. Let's take the daily resistance levels off and put up weekly resistance levels on top of daily support. Click of a button. Pop, and there you go. So we have resistance on a weekly time frame represented on a daily chart at 181.94. I'm going to set up a new alert here. I would like to see a retest. We'll keep a little bit of sensitivity on, a little bit more than what I have here. There you go. AAP. Okay, and we'll keep this active for the next 7 trading days. I love the raindrop chart. A lot of buying into the close. We closed just off the highs of the session. Volume was slightly below average. You can see the moving average here in blue. We'd like to see better volume on a breakout, but net, harkening back to that monthly chart, I mean, it appears as though we're at the beginning of a major breakout and rally on advanced auto parts. So very interesting chart. One of my favorites moving forward. Now, the next chart up is going to be Costco. And unlike the other symbols we went over, we're not going to begin with a monthly chart or a weekly chart. We're going to begin with a daily chart and work backwards. The question should be, why? What's different with this trade? What's different is this, is that this is an extreme oversold trade, meaning our RSI is trading down below 20 and we close there. And this is what attracted me to the trade. It came up on one of our scans. Now, as you can see on Friday, we had a bullish reversal bar. We opened down, we closed up. The question is, how do we know if this is a probable bottom? We don't. We need to work backwards. It's not represented here on a daily chart. The key to trading extreme oversold stocks is to buy at support levels with like-minded buyers. What does that mean? Well, if you're a guy like me, you're not an institution. Institutions have the power to move a stock, and even institutions are going to wait until they hit key support levels because they don't want to try to create their own support levels. So how do we identify where there's support? Well, we need to pull back. Go back in history. The weekly chart's not helping much here, with the exception of this volume shelf right here. Now, what this shows is that we have support at $315.44. And you can see how we bounced off of it last week. But now the second question becomes, is there more stronger support below? Now we go to a monthly chart. And the chart is very, very clear that we hit last week rock solid support at around 307. What was the low of the week? Let's be specific here. 307. Yeah, right. So right at 307, and then we bounced. So we hit multiple support levels below. In fact, we pierced what was resistance back here, acted as support last week. We bounced off of it. Very, very bullish. So this might be ugly. Really, really ugly, this downtrend. And don't forget, we are still in a downtrend. This is only a swing trade unless you want to buy Costco. I love Costco too for a longer term investment. For my purposes, I'm just looking at Costco for an oversold bounce and a short term swing trade. Perhaps if we rally, pull back, do a double bottom retest off of these support levels at some point in time in the future, then it becomes an investment. I'm not ready to put my head there right now. Right now, all I care about is scalping a profit due to the oversold condition on a daily time frame. So while this is very ugly, the price action on Friday was very, very bullish. Now, what I want to do here also is go back to the weekly chart. And I want to show you how TrendSpider would have kept you out of trouble. I'm going to overlay both weekly resistance and support, as well as monthly resistance and support onto a weekly time frame. And you can see that if you were long through this nice rally, that TrendSpider would have alerted you that you were hitting resistance levels. And then once we had broken out here in November and then failed to hold it later on in November, well, that was a breakout point failure. That was a signal that you had better get ready to bail on these shares. And when we pierced and closed down below the support level, it was all over. Then we began to put in lower highs and lower lows. Is it all over yet, the selling? We don't know yet. We're not that smart. But all we know is that on a daily time frame, we are oversold on a top quality, high quality S&P 500 stock. These don't come around every single day. So we'll be looking to enter this position for a short-term swing trade, scalp, move to the sidelines, then watch it using our alerts to identify if and when we pull back, retest weekly and monthly support, and then we'll consider putting on a longer-term investment on Costco. We're not there yet. Our last chart up is going to be Rocket Mortgage, weekly time frame. There's not a whole bunch of data on Rocket Mortgage to use a monthly time frame yet, but they had outstanding earnings and the shares broke out. It became a Wall Street bets play on a short squeeze. We did not chase it. We identified that this was not going to last. I predicted that we would get a pullback and a filling of either one or two gaps. That happened. We'll go to that in a moment on a daily time frame. But on a weekly time frame, what happened last week was that we broke out. And what I want to do here is I want to set up an alert to identify when we pull back and retest. And we're going to keep this active. Rocket can be pretty volatile. We'll keep it active for a couple of weeks and we're good to go. So I want to know if we pull back and do a retest this coming week. That would be a long entry point at around 24.50 thereabouts, give or take a dime. It's not an exact science. What I would point out on a weekly time frame is that this red line here is your third standard deviation Bollinger Band. We closed above that mark. That quote unquote, air quotes, overbought condition needs to get resolved. I think it will this coming week with the retest of support. Volume last week, outstanding, very strong volume. Daily chart. Now, on a daily time frame, here was that spike up higher, and I warned that in all probability, what we're going to do is we're going to fill the gap that opened up here, and we did that. That's been resolved. Here's our alert that is set. I'm going to be pretty stingy here pretty greedy. And I want to wait until this is retested and or this support level is retested at that volume shelf, 2267. And I'd be an aggressive buyer were we to overshoot to the downside to 2267. Assuming that the market overall was holding up well. Our alert is set. Now we forget until it fires off. That's how you stay out of trouble. I want to thank our sponsors over at TrendSpider. Don't forget that link below, 35% discount code. And if you'd like to become a member of the Contrarian Trader, 14-day free trial offer, and you get with our silver and gold level memberships, TrendSpider included with your membership package. And if you already have TrendSpider, well, there's a link below, 3-month trial offer for only $100 and renews at $299 per year. That price never changes. And please join us tonight, Sunday Night Futures live on YouTube. Enter your email address below. You'll get alerted 15 minutes to a half hour prior to us going live. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, share with a friend. You know the deal. Hopefully I'll chat with you this evening. Everybody have a profitable trading week and be well.